Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. I hope you found a quiet place to sit, because today we're diving into a story that's equal parts mystery, nostalgia, and old-school trust. It features two of the most talked-about names in Turkish entertainment, Barış, Arduç, and Elçin. Sangu, a single late-night visit that has gossip desks vibrating like loose window panes in a summer storm. If long-form people-first storytelling is your thing, please hit that like button, subscribe. And only if you feel like going the extra mile, tap the join badge. So, I can keep filming these deeper dives instead of surface-level sound bites. And now, let's rewind the tape to the night everything shifted. 1. A friendship written in pencil, not ink. Industry insiders have known for almost a decade that Barış and Elçin run on the same creative wavelength. They weren't overnight best friends. It was more of a slow simmer that started when both attended a casting workshop in Birlikte in the autumn of 2013. The story goes that the room's heater broke. Everyone could see their own breath, and those two started improvising scenes as an excuse to move around and stay warm. By lunch break, they were writing alternate endings to the workshop script in the margins of each other's notebooks, and act that triggered a running joke. We never sign anything in pen until the other one takes a red marker to it. Since then, they have looped in and out of each other's schedules. Voiceover gigs, charity football matches, press junkets where a handshake lasted 1 second too long because they were quietly sharing an inside joke nobody else understood. Importantly, they've never tried to monetize the Bon No joint perfume ad. No staged red carpet revealed, just intermittent collaborations and a shared folder in the cloud labeled shared scripts. To the night, the cameras saw more than they should. Fast forward to last Thursday. Istanbul was humid, traffic was apocalyptic. And most paparazzi had accepted that nothing interesting was happening. A freelance photographer staking out a club in Nisan Tech spotted a charcoal gray sedan slowing without headlights near an apartment block known to house a handful of famous screenwriters and, guess, one Elçin Sangu. The driver stayed behind the wheel while a tall figure in a loose hoodie moved from shadow to doorway, punching a code without hesitating. From a distance, the gesture took 2 seconds. From a gossip perspective, you could stretch those seconds into a full-length novel. 3 blurry photos later, media sites ran with a headline they'd clearly been saving for a rainy day. Secret rendezvous. Barış Arduç enters Elçin Sangu's home after midnight. By breakfast, the images were on every entertainment feed. But the only concrete fact was a timestamp. 0:43 a.m. 3. The tabloid angle versus the human side. Gossip blogs immediately dusted off the usual narratives. Was this a rekindled romance? A clandestine rehearsal for a hush-hush project? Or something more mundane like 2 old friends eating reheated break and arguing over script notes? Let's lay out what we actually know, drawing on 3 independent sources close to both actors. Source A claims filming wrapped earlier than expected after a technical glitch, freeing him nearly 4 hours before his chauffeur usually appears. Source B heard soft piano practicing and low conversation until about 2 a.m. No raised voices, no party atmosphere. Source C says Elçin arrived looking underslept but cheerful, ordering double espresso and humming a song she'd never heard her hum before. Taken together, these details sketch an image far different from the tabloid headline. No party, no hidden paparazzo flashlights catching illicit silhouettes, just 2 colleagues with overlapping insomnia and a safe place to talk. For why secrecy sometimes looks like guilt. Now, you might ask, why tiptoe into the building at all? Why not use the main entrance? In celebrity life, timing equals privacy. Barış has a documented pattern. When he wants to avoid photographing neighbors or unrelated residents, he instructs drivers to halt a few houses down and slip into service corridors. It's the same method he used last year visiting a retired acting coach in Beykoz. Back then, no one cared because no romance angle existed. Context alone turns discretion into suspicion. 5. Unpacking motivations. 3 plausible scenarios. Line reading and last-minute script doctoring. Barış has a history of phoning Elçin at absurd hours to troubleshoot dialogue. If an important production meeting loomed the next day, he'd rather wake one person at midnight than present sloppy notes to 15 executives at noon. Comfort visit in personal turmoil. Rumor mills whisper that a family health scare recently shook Barış's household. Elçin, who survived her own family crisis years back, might have invited him over for unfiltered conversation away from the entourage of well-meaning handlers. Low-key celebration. Some fans highlight that both stars quietly crossed professional milestones last week. One wrapped a pilot, the other signed on to a stage play. Maybe two workaholics celebrated the way they always have. Take out Manti, half a bottle of Narins, and Spotify set to 1990s Turkish rock. Until one of them speaks, all three remain hypothesis end. All three are more believable than the secret affair line tabloids love to flog. 6. Why this matters beyond gossip clicks. Here's the larger question. Why do we assume a man entering a woman's house after dark equals scandal? Partly because clickbait economics reward that assumption. But there's also a cultural habit of reducing male-female friendships to potential romance, especially when both parties are attractive and unattached. Yet we forget how many creative breakthroughs happen in those late-night living room talks, the uninstagrammable collaborations that birth scripts, songs, and indie films we later applaud on festival carpets. In interviews, Barış once said, "Elçin is the colleague who will tell me a line is trash and also show me how to fix it." Keen, for her part, told a literary magazine, "I trust his silence." Some people fill space with flattery. Keen edits silence like a director. That's not PR fluff. Shorthand for a creative partnership that predates and probably outlives any social media cycle. 7 audience reactions. Empathy versus cynicism. Scrolling through the hashtag that trended overnight, you find 2 camps. Camp hopeful, maybe they're finally together, my heart can't take it. Camp protective, leave them alone, friends exist. A striking minority offered a third view. Whatever they are, they trust each other enough to let the world speculate. That's stronger than any label. 8. The simple power of choosing who gets a key. One detail overlooked by most outlets. Before Barış entered, he tapped the keypad like someone who's done it dozens of times. That hints at pre-permission. Having a door code means 2 things. The homeowner trusts you, and you've earned that trust over years, not likes. It is an ordinary gesture in non-celebrity life. In the tabloid world, it becomes a statement louder than a red carpet entrance. 9. Closing thoughts and what comes next. Will Barış or Elçin make an official comment? History suggests no. They've weathered similar storms by letting the next news cycle bury the last. Barış returns to set this week. Elçin begins dialect coaching for her stage role. If they meet again at midnight, chances are we'll never know unless another paparazzo gets lucky and the internet spins itself dizzy all over again. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you. Now it's your turn. Do you believe men and women in show business can forge friendships immune to romance rumors? Or does fame inevitably blur lines? Tell me in the comments, and I promise to read every insight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss next week's episode, where we decode why 3 different Turkish dramas are suddenly filming in the same Aegean village. Until then, hold your friendships close, respect other silences. And remember that sometimes the most interesting stories finish long before the cameras even arrive.